I ain't trying to bring up this conversation again, but it's been about 7 months since Dispatch released, and I'm working on a video right now talking about Dispatch 7 months later. But in between me making that video, I played through the first 5 episodes yesterday, and I'm gonna finish up the last 3 episodes today. And it was just different, and it was different because obviously the first time that we played them, I was thinking about, okay, we gotta do some content and thinking about, getting some information out to you guys, and then you have to sit on it, sit on the episodes that you played for about a week or so, theorizing, thinking about different stuff. It makes the waits longer. And I remember there's big conversation around Blonde Blazer and how, she kind of disappears in between the game, and that's why so many people chose Invisigal and things like that, because Blazer kind of just disappeared and you didn't see her much. And to be honest, when you have the full game at your disposal and you're able to sit down and just play through it 1 day or 2 days, whatever the case is, the wait doesn't seem that much bigger. Like, I didn't miss Blonde Blazer because I've seen her literally like almost every episode, and I'm up to episode 5, even if the interactions are small or big. Honestly, I'm having a blast playing through it again, and I actually tried playing through it back in January again, just to I was like, okay, let me try to see if I can go not a different route, because I want to keep doing Blazer no matter what, but I was like, let me maybe make some different choices and be nicer to Vizzy and stuff like that, and be more friendlier with Vizzy rather than flirtatious with Vizzy, and maybe that would help. But I couldn't get through it, and it was just because it was so soon after that I had just played it, and I was still busy making videos and doing so many other stuff that I couldn't find the time to really sit and play it. And so finally I went back and I replayed it, and I wanted to just see if it was as good as I remembered, and it was fucking fantastic. It was it gave me this happiness. It gave me this really awesome, beautiful feeling. That first episode and me kind of being with Blazer again and talking to her again, it was really, really nice. It was really cool. And I kind of asked myself this throughout the very first episode again after replaying it, was the game really expected me not to fall in love with Blonde Blazer in the first fucking episode? Like, am I supposed to not clearly take the hint that maybe I want something with this character? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, the game built this whole perfect intro to this character. It felt like love at first sight. It felt like a movie. I've said this in the past. I feel like I'm having fucking deja vu visiting this game, 7 months later, and repeating the stuff, that I've said in the past. But I wanted to know if it was going to change. I wanted to know if I was going to have different feelings. I wanted to know if I was really going to feel this way towards Blazer still, or if it was just because the game was brand new and there was a lot of hype around it. And I wanted to know if these feelings were really accurate a second time around, playing through it again or revisiting it so many months later. And I just don't understand how I'm not supposed to fall for Blazer that first episode. Literally, you meet Robert, he's going through some shit, you find out his dad's dead, he loses his suit, he's kind of having to give up Mecha Man, this thing that he's been doing for years. He's all he knows is how to be a superhero, and he knows sacrifice, and he's blown through his inheritance and all his money. He's given everything to be Mecha Man, to be a hero, whether it's because he likes helping people, because he feels that he has this pressure and this legacy to uphold. Whatever the case is, he's clearly a troubled man who's gone through a lot of stuff and is alone. And then you have this woman who comes in out of nowhere and she saves him, and she's nice to him, and he has this connection to another person that maybe he hasn't had for a long time. And she tells him things like, I'm not done saving you yet. Can I see who you are? He shares his identity, which I'm pretty sure is something that he doesn't just do randomly. I don't think anyone knows who the fuck Mecha Man is, right? It's something that his father and his grandfather before him, they hid their identity. They know Mecha Man, but they don't know the man behind Mecha Man. And so Robert isn't someone that's just gonna go around sharing his fucking identity with anyone. But clearly he felt inclined to. He clearly felt something different about Blonde Blazer that he hadn't felt in years, that he decided to share his identity with her. And he does, and she handles it with such grace. And then clearly when she takes off the mask, Robert is looking at Blazer, and Blazer, you remember how it looks like so almost like it's love. Like, the background is pink, there's like the light is shining on her, she's kind of smiling, and he's kind of mesmerized by her. You're telling me that I'm not supposed to believe that fucking Robert is clearly falling for her? And the reason that I say this is because obviously the game later on presents two different paths. Like, either you like Vizzy or you like Blazer, and you get to choose. And all I know is that very first episode really puts me on the path for Blazer, and I never derail from it. I never want to change. Now, obviously, in episode 4, when you end up kind of having the wet dream about Vizzy, I think, yes, it did shift a bit because people were very curious to see what happens next, and it was very on the nose and stuff. But honestly, even looking back at it now, I've kind of felt that the relationship between Robert and Vizzy Vizzy really feels more like brotherly or more friendship, than anything. And the first time maybe I didn't see it, like I said it at the first time that I played it, but there were so many disagreements and arguments at the time, but I feel like it reinforced it this time. I mean, from the very first moment, I feel like I fall in love with Blazer, and whether she would had some shit with Phenomenal Man or that thing, that shit was clearly some sort of PR thing that never worked out. Whatever, that shit was over. We move on, and that's it. But I think the path was Robert and Blazer, and it just seems so natural. The whole thing with Vizzy, she even states that she's like, oh, I'm doing this thing in my head where I start thinking about like how I would look with somebody, how would it be, because she had a wet dream about him, because she clearly, it almost feels like this thing of she's experimenting, she's trying it out. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. The whole back and forth always seemed very childish to me, and I don't mean to talk shit about anyone, or if you felt Vizzy that the time, that's fine. I'm not saying that your choice is wrong. I'm just saying, like, personally, we're going back to the game many months later after its release reinforces everything and makes everything even more clear for me. The path for Blazer just seemed the most natural, seemed the most organic, seemed the most real, and the path with Vizzy seems more like a friendship. And this time, I'm not doing any type of flirting with Vizzy, because the very first time, I'm not gonna pretend that wet dream didn't like maybe make me raise my eyebrows a bit and say, okay, whoa, what the fuck are we doing here, boy? Like it seemed kind of like interesting, and I knew that I was always gonna choose Blazer, but I did get a little flirtatious with Vizzy, and I dropped some flirt things, but I never kissed her or anything like that. I never took it to the next level, but I did get a little flirty with her. And going back to it now, I'm starting to see, like, it felt like it was Blazer and Robert kind of against everyone else. Blazer and Robert understood each other, and they were just kind of try to help Z Team. And I've taken my role as a mentor and everything a little bit better, but just the romancing options just seem that much more clearer to me this time around. And because I'm able to play through the episodes back to back to back, everything just seems to flow much better. And I'm not saying that I would like the next Dispatch season to be, released altogether. No, like, it's fine. The release is fine, and then revisiting it. But when you are able to play them kind of back to back, you kind of notice and feel things differently. And right now, I'm not having no trouble whatsoever treating Vizzy as a friend. She keeps throwing like some little things and keeps being like a little flirtation and stuff, but I'm taking it as someone who's just kind of, that's how she is, that's her personality, and I'm just being very nice to her, like I've always been, just trying to be nice to her and help her out and give her good advice and hope that she, goes down the right path. I'm trying to take care of her a little bit more, which I personally, like I've said before, I don't know that that's, I want to take care of all the Z Team members because they're my team there, and I want to help them out and I want to teach them. So I don't know that I want to necessarily give her special treatment, but a lot of you guys said that she chooses the villain path if you don't level her up enough. So I'm trying to make sure that I level her up, and I'm just being nice to her, just like I am to all the other, Z Team members. I have made some different choices, but nothing major. For the most part, I'm very, very, very happy with how my first playthrough came out, and I'm just happy with that. But I'm making minor choices, like telling the team that I am Mecha Man, and seeing how that goes instead of not telling them like I did the very first time around. So yes, I've just been enjoying it more. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I feel that Blazer is so much more in the story than not, and I think that's because I've been playing them back to back. It just feels like I'm always talking to Blazer. Blazer's always in my ear about something, and I'm enjoying that conversation with her. And the relationship with Vizzy just seems much more friendlier. I'm just treating her completely as a friend. Like I said, no flirtatious options, nothing, and I'm vibing with this. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on nobody else. It's just I couldn't do it any other way. I couldn't have this wonderful night with Blazer the first time, meeting her and then flirting with her a little bit the second day, and then clearly feeling something, and then saying, we're just friends, I'm actually gonna go with Vizzy. I can't do that. I can't envision that. I can't feel that. Like, it's not in me, bro. Even if someone says, okay, just do the Vizzy love path just to see, I couldn't. And some people might say this bullshit. Some people might say, like, it's just a game, like, just do it, but no, I couldn't. I could never go the Vizzy route in terms of love. It just doesn't feel right to me, doesn't feel natural to me. It feels like, to me, the whole Vizzy thing is like a little friendship kind of hookup thing where, yes, they might fuck, yes, they might have a good time, and then some shit is gonna go wrong. Yeah, and that'll be it. It'll wrap up. And with Blazer, it feels like, nah, dude, right here we got some good shit. It's real love. I see a future here with that person. Like, her and Robert could definitely create, something, maybe a family or whatever the case is. I feel like it's really real. Revisiting Dispatch 7 months later reinforces my decision making, and I understand the love story, the love triangle even more. It feels much more better. It feels much more natural. It feels to me like Blazer has always been the right choice and the right way to go, and Vizzy has been more of a friendship and someone that needs help. And she herself, because she's been betrayed so much, because she's been at a loss, because she feels like she hasn't had anyone in her life, she's kind of having these feelings where she's getting really attached to Robert and saying, hey Robert, like I wanted you, I'm thinking about you, I'm thinking about fucking you, whatever the case is. And she think that that's the right way to go, but in reality it's more like, let me guide her and be friends with her and help her. She doesn't really want this. She needs friends, and that's what we're trying to provide here at SDN, and that's what we're trying to provide as the Z team. So it's really, really cool. I mean, playing them again back to back has been very, very different. I am so reinforced in the relationship with Blazer and Robert. It is crazy. I think that Blazer and Robert is one of those original stories, original love stories, and it feels so good that I could revisit this every other year. I could revisit this. I think I'll revisit this, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever the case is, and I'm gonna remember some really good moments, some really good feelings. And it brings up the question of, how can this be improved in a season 2? How can you make this better? How can you not screw up that magic that you had in that first season? And that's going to be very, very interesting to see. That's going to be something interesting that Dispatch and the developers at Adhoc can try to navigate and figure it out. And I have all the trust in the world for them. So hopefully I get maybe a different ending, right? I'm happy with the ending that I got. I really, really am. The very first time around, the very first ending that I got was Vizzy accepting villainy. I'm fine with that ending, like I said before, because I know that I made the right choices. I tried to be her friend, and I tried to be there for her, and she still decided to go the villain route, and that's something that I couldn't help. I mean, it's like I treated everyone equally, and I tried helping everyone, and some people told me like, no, you had to treat her different. Why would I treat her different? Like, she's part of the team. I'm trying to help her. So I was happy because I know that I made the right choices. In my opinion, I tried my best to be helpful, but now I'm trying even harder for her, and hopefully I do get a different ending. So we will talk a little bit about that in the next video of Dispatch. What do you guys think? Have you revisited Dispatch? Have you only played it once? If you have, maybe give it a shot again and play it back to back to back. Like, just try to finish it in a day or two and see if you feel any different. See if you feel the pacing different and stuff like that. Because I think there's still so much more to uncover in the world of Dispatch.